Hello folks, and welcome back to True Crime Phenomenon. This is Josh coming back with another Jeremy Dewitte video. As a way of introduction, Jeremy Dewitte is a serial police impersonator going back to his first arrest in 1998 for impersonating a police officer when he brandished his Police Explorer's badge and stole $14 in gas. This interview stems from the March 23rd, 2021 arrest of Jeremy Dewitte for carrying a concealed weapon. This led to Sergeant Vidler getting fired and Corporal Ramsey getting an unpaid suspension. There's a deep background to the story. I'll be going more into that as we go along. More specifically, this particular interview is regarding insurance fraud, an investigation into the background of Jeremy Dewitte and his insurance fraud schemes. This interview is with Sergeant Justin Wall of the Professional Standards Division and Mr. Michael Filteau. And it takes place on May 10th, 2021 at 1:06 p.m. And Mr. Filteau is the Assistant State Prosecutor for the statewide Florida Attorney General's Office. I know that's a mouthful. And the way that he came into contact with the Professional Standards Division was through the attorney Colin Moore. Now, there's an active investigation into insurance fraud regarding Jeremy Dewitte. This is extremely important because a lot of people like myself believe that he's not going to be getting out of prison. He's going to be charged the minute they find out he's going to get out. So there's the active investigation. Detective Warner was gathering evidence on this, and they got kind of going into the background of this. And they were highly interested in the body-worn camera footage obtained by Orange County Sheriff's Office. There are multiple counts of fraud under investigation. I'll let you make up your own mind from here and let me know what you think down in the comments below. Please like, share, comment, and subscribe. And I'll get you on the other side.
I'm Sergeant Justin Wall of the Orange County Sheriff's Office Professional Standards Section. Today's date is May 10th, 2021, and the current time is 1:06 p.m. I'm currently interviewing. Can you just state your name for me?
My name is Michael Filteau.
And what organization or agency are you with?
So I am an assistant statewide prosecutor with the Florida Attorney General's Office of Statewide Prosecution.
Okay. And Mr. Filteau, are you aware that I'm recording this interview?
Yes.
Has anyone threatened, coerced, or offered you any preferential treatment to give this statement?
No.
Are you under the influence of drugs or alcohol that may impair your testimony?
No.
And I'm going to swear you in. Do you swear or affirm the testimony you are to provide will be true and correct?
Yes.
Okay. So I got your name from Mr. Colin Moore, who's an assistant state attorney at the Ninth Circuit State Attorney's Office. And he told me that you had reached out to him in regards to Mr. Jeremy Dewitte being arrested soon after he was arrested, I guess. And that's how Mr. Moore said that he became aware of the arrest. Do you recall having a conversation with Mr. Moore?
I don't recall if I ever actually spoke to Mr. Moore or if I just left him a voicemail.
Okay. But nonetheless, you let him know Mr. Dewitte had been arrested?
I let him know that I had heard that Mr. Dewitte had been arrested.
Okay. And how do you know Mr. Dewitte?
Well, I don't know him personally, but I currently have an active investigation into Mr. Dewitte for various insurance fraud-related matters in a couple of different circuits in the state of Florida.
Your insurance, is it with the state?
We're self-insured.
Self-insured.
Yeah. That's the problem that she's asking. So,
What?
I don't know. I just hope that she. I don't know.
How else could it even understand?
I don't know.
Doesn't make any sense. I'm riding next to him. Where the fuck?
Well, where'd the white paint transfer come to on the bike? Everything on your bike is black. So how would you transfer white paint to him? That's an impossibility.
We carry on the insurance as opposed to the state agency.
Oh, that's why she thought we were. Oh, okay.
Because law enforcement vehicles are state insurance.
So she thought we were. I get it.
She's probably still not really sure who we are.
Yes, that's what I just...
You know, when you roll up and you see some sexy shit like this, and you see a sexy dude like me, you automatically assume, though these goons are fucking...
Yo, we was definitely looking down on the face. She was like, oh, we're both the same size.
Yeah. they on the job.
Yeah.
And here's the other thing. The fact that we just sit here
I was like,
and act as if. You act as if. That's all. You know what, bro? All due respect, that's all your fault. I'm gonna fucking word it so it's not your fault, but dude, that's all your fucking fault. Yeah, I sent another unit over there now, so.
That was brought to my office by Detective Mike Warner with the Division of Investigative and Forensic Services, Bureau of Insurance Fraud.
Okay. Yeah, that's quite a name. Okay, so Mr. Warner is one of the investigators that's conducting a case that you're prosecuting, is that correct?
Well, assuming we develop sufficient evidence for me to actually charge him and prove a crime beyond a reasonable doubt, yes. As it currently is, we are still in the investigative stage. So as I understand it, Detective Warner is still collecting information and evidence to determine whether or not we will have sufficient evidence to prosecute.
Okay. And in your discussions with Mr. Warner, have you ever... Is it common for him to reach out to a local law enforcement agency?
I am sure that he reaches out to local law enforcement members regarding, different aspects of defendants, stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
I know in this particular case, when Detective Warner first reached out to me to basically pitch me the investigation, he had advised me that that the subject of our investigation, Mr. Dewitte, had previously been arrested and was being prosecuted by the Ninth Circuit State Attorney's Office for multiple cases of falsely impersonating a law enforcement officer. As well, that Mr. Dewitte had, I think, gone on Dr. Phil and given an interview and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. But of particular significance, Detective Warner had told me that during the course of those arrests, I guess Mr. Dewitte is prone to wear a body-worn camera, and the footage from his body-worn camera system had been impounded. So Detective Warner and I had discussed potentially doing our own search warrant to essentially search evidence that had been impounded by, I believe, the Orange County Sheriff's Office.
Okay.
For our own purposes.
Okay. And so, are you aware of Sergeant Vidler contacting insurance companies directly?
I have no knowledge of whether or not Sergeant Vidler has reached out to insurance companies directly. What I do know is, at least from what Detective Warner told me, is that his investigation started with an insurance company that reached out to him regarding alleged fraud by the subject, Mr. Dewitte, in the application for insurance for that company, and that's where Detective Warner's investigation started. And from what Detective Warner told me, as his investigation has progressed, he has uncovered other potential insurance fraud issues.
Okay. Do you know if that the insurance company reached out directly to the Bureau of Fraud Investigation or Insurance Fraud Investigation?
My belief is that they did, but obviously I wasn't present, so that's a question that Detective Warner would have to answer for sure.
Okay.
But I believe they reached out to him.
Okay.
To those investigators rather than the other way around.
Okay, very good. And you provided me with Mr. Warner's information. I appreciate it.
Correct.
Is there anything else that you know about this investigation you'd like to add?
As I recall, I believe Detective Warner at one point advised me that when he reached out to, I think it was, I don't remember whether he was reaching out to interview Mr. DeWitte regarding the false application claim, or whether he was reaching out to DeWitte's wife or someone like that. Mm-hmm. But he did tell me that at one point he did speak to DeWitte, and DeWitte seemed to think that his investigation had started with an Orange County sheriff's sergeant.
Okay, that was Mr. DeWitte's belief.
Yeah, that's what Detective Warner told me.
Okay.
That DeWitte said.
Okay, all right. I'll reach out to Mr. Warner. I appreciate it.
Absolutely.
The current time is 1:13 p.m. and that concludes this interview.
All right, guys, that's going to do it for this one. Please like, share, comment, and subscribe. And the next one after this will be Detective Michael Warner. So we'll have the detective follow-up. It's kind of a short interview, and you'll find out why on the next one.